Oh, hey there. That camera must be reversed. You must be reading that upside down.
Nope. I was upside down earlier. The book
Ah,
was right side up. Didn't
okay.
think I could do a handstand at this age anymore.
What
How's
do
it
we got
going?
going on there? What is that? What are we reading?
Schoolhouse Rock. My daughter's high school had their musical this weekend. Saw all three shows. It was a great musical. It was a rocking good time.
They rocked the musical. Is that what you're
Yes,
saying?
they rocked it.
Hmm. Yeah, I
My,
tell you,
my
we were.
childhood came flashing back to me, and I'm still singing the songs.
Yeah,
It's
when
crazy.
they had that special a couple years ago on. I'm like watching it, and they're talking about all the different shows and the history, and everybody's talking. And yeah, when I first started teaching, I had the VHS cassette tape. I did language arts. We watched all of those, man. So yeah, talk about just being stuck in your head and
Yeah,
taking you to a moment. That's pretty wild.
I think I have the VHS, and then I upgraded, went high tech to the DVDs whenever they came out. It's
Oh
like,
yeah, there you
yes, I
go.
have these. I can play these through the computer.
Yeah, that's good stuff. That's hilarious. Yeah, that's a lot of good learning and a lot of good teaching going on with those things.
Yeah,
So all right, man. Well, listen, April, buddy, how are things going there? How's life in the Western PA? You survived the eclipse?
we survived the eclipse. My students did a great project based on it, but it has been soggy outside of the eclipse and a few days here and there. Soggy is the word of the month.
Yeah, it's been kind of crazy. Yeah, we had our kids out. Our PTO purchased the glasses for all of our students, so
Mhm.
1,500 students, and they got them, pretty early in the scenario. And yeah, our kids were like literally laying on their backpacks on the sidewalk, just with the glasses on, looking up, and it was like Wayne's World, like game on, oh car, oh game back on, and like literally like the cloud's cleared, okay, solar eclipse on, and they're all looking up, and then I'm like okay, look down, all right, it's hidden, and then we'd be talking to the whole team, and then solar eclipse on, and they're popping it up, so it was pretty funny. My our librarian was out doing it, and she caught on right away to what I was doing, and she was like party on, Garth. So we were having fun with that. So yeah, but all that fun after the building's been open for 14 years, our team learned the hard way that the front of our building, we have four different entrances to our building. So there's three
Uh-huh.
wings the way it works out. And we were at the main entrance, our special ed office is there, all that jazz. And we found out the hard way that you can't hear the intercom system outside that entrance. So even though I had my phone, we do like a Google Doc where we'll highlight the buses, they say them over
Uh-huh.
the speaker, and it wasn't resetting. So I'm like, oh, we got time. The parent line came, they disappeared, but there was, we had, I mean, was your building almost like a ghost town on that day? How many kids did you have leave?
We had a lot of kids there because we got out early. We had a 11:30
Oh,
a.m. dismissal. So I had
okay.
a number of kids who went away for the weekend. They went north to Erie because we're an hour and a
Yeah.
half from Erie, and I have students that have family. They have camps and stuff up that way, or they have family that have vacation homes up on Erie. So they went. A lot of students went up that way.
Gotcha. Yeah. Some schools did like a half day. We stayed a whole day, but whenever you put the word out that if you're excused early, it's if you get picked up, it's an excused absence. Several kids not show up, and I think of a building of just over 1,500 kids. We had almost 600 kids out that
Oh
or left
wow,
early.
that's
So,
more than we have in our school.
oh yeah, I mean
We
it's
have like
crazy.
400,
So
400 and some kids in our school.
okay, so yeah, just that our middle school was like there. There's two grade levels there, so just over right around just under probably about 800, 900 kids. They had like 400 out. So,
Oh wow.
but anyway, so with the kids we had, so we're out there. I got my phone up. I'm waiting to see. Okay, all right, what's going on? Whatever. But because of all the parents coming and picking kids up, there was cars, there wasn't. So when the line went to nothing, I didn't think anything of it. Well, the parent line left. So the buses were being called. All of a sudden, I'm like, wait a minute. I hit refresh, and my Google Doc lights up with highlights. Like half the buses were called. So our team had about 20 kids that missed the bus. So I was there till about
Oh
5:30 that night, with my team, waiting for all the parents to get there and going to every car, apologizing, just getting caught up in the moment of this and that, and it was good. We felt bad, but I looked at my one principal and I said, these kids are never going to miss or forget this eclipse because the whole missing of the bus because they're like
yeah.
running after their bus is leaving and everything going on. So
It adds
It was
to
memorable all around.
the story.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's hilarious. So yeah, all that going on, and yeah, the weather. Um, oh man, Brendan, yeah, all right, they screamed every time they saw it. I know it's crazy, wasn't it? I know it's hilarious. Like, you get the popcorn out. It was exciting
Yeah.
television, and yeah. So with all that going on, we had the really nice weather. Yeah, then the rains came in and flooding things out, and the last 2 days it's been we had some good overnight rains, but for the most part warm in the day. But man, it's Pennsylvania. You wake up and you're like, it's a little nip in the air. You kind of throw that either the sweatshirt on or the jacket,
Yeah.
and then you get out of school and you're like, oh my, what was I thinking? And then you're like,
Shorts.
going down to the polo, getting home, going straight to shorts. And I know we were talking, you got bus duty, so like,
Yeah.
you're definitely looking odd having those jackets in your hand when
Oh,
you're
I know.
leaving at the end of the day.
I go to work with it's 30 degrees, 20 some degrees. I have the winter coat on, and then I come out at 65, 70 degrees, and it's like But we did a neighborhood watch party in the backyard, and it was pretty cool. And then I had my glasses on, and the clouds would come in. I'm like, this reminds me of like one of those like old 1930 monster movies. And of course, my neighbors,
Isn't it weird?
Kevin included, figures you would know that. I'm like, wait a second, like you guys watch old shows too. Like, yeah, but you always talked about it. But it was cool. It was like watching like the old Wolfman or Dracula movies where the cloud drop it comes in and it's dark. It was pretty cool. Then we had a good eclipse. My kids did it was inspired by our show with Kevin Honeycutt last episode. It was creativity. They could do whatever. I went on to National Writing Project, get some ideas, bounced ideas off PACT, my PLN there, and got some ideas. And I opened up the last option. I told the kids, come up with something, run it past me, and we'll see what we do. I've had kids do paintings, do drawings, comic strips. We did some kind of like blackout poems, highlight poems. They wrote their own poems, stories, anything eclipse related. I had some kids do some fantastic rap songs. So I'm eventually going to get all that pushed out and published and linked up to my class wiki, and I'll push it out through my Twitter and Blue Sky, the links to all the projects. Kids did a great job on it. I was impressed. And then some of the kids painting. And I was telling you before we got started, like some of the kids were coming up to me and like, Mr. Sal, like, I know this isn't very good. And I'm like, stop right there. Like, don't open with that line. I said, tried to explain to them. I said, some of the most popular songs in the history of rock and roll were the songs they didn't even want on the album because they weren't happy with it. And that was their biggest selling album, or biggest selling song. So this is don't belittle your work. I says, it came out pretty good across the board. I was impressed. So I'm going through and getting those. Even the kids that did the physical art, painting, oil and stuff, using the IPEVO camera or their phone cameras, depending on which one we get going, we get the better picture and uploading that and getting everything posted. So I'm kind of organizing that and getting that ready for publishing. But it was great. Kids had a blast with it. Like I said, some of the kids went to Erie. It was crazy because I thought about it. I got out of school when they let us out at 11:30. I'm like, I could be home. I could grab Charlie. Fran and Ariana were probably going to be home by then. We could drive us 45 minutes to an hour. I'm going to be 100%. We were at 97%, 98% where we're at. Like we'd be at 100% coverage. And you couldn't even get close to getting on the interstates around here. All the roads were backed up. I'm like, staying in the yard.
Yeah. Well, the crazy thing is the light was definitely off. That was throwing me. I'm like looking at my t-shirt. I'm like, is it because I had these glasses on? I'm like doing this and, because you weren't sure. And then I said, it makes sense, but I wasn't expecting it because I really don't think I feel like wasn't talked about, but it's not like I geeked out reading it, all this or watching these videos about the eclipse. The temperature drop was just like eerie, just that short little bit and how much it was about a 10-degree drop where we were and talking to some different people in the organization. They were talking about, where they were, they had about, closer to Erie. It was like almost a 15, 16-degree drop in temperature during that time. And that was pretty funky.
We got to like dusk. It didn't get dark. I thought it would have gotten darker. And I think I just froze up.
Yeah, you did. Keep talking. You're good.
it I thought it would get darker at 98% coverage, but it
Yeah.
got to be like almost dusk, a little bit lighter than dusk.
Yeah.
But that temperature drop was intense. It was, like I said, about 10 degrees or so. But you wouldn't think that.
Yeah.
You know, but
Yeah.
it was
Just
cool.
wild.
It was a great experience.
Yeah, definitely. All right, man. Well, listen, we got a lot of stuff talking about. We haven't even taken any shots at the Steelers or the Dolphins, and we're good. We're going to be moving on. So
Yeah,
it's Tuesday.
that
You're
it is.
here.
It's the third Tuesday.
Third Tuesday.
So that means it's time for.
Time for the PACT pod?
Yep. Let's roll it.
Let's roll it. Look at you. Blasting with the lasers. Welcome to the PACT pod, a show for educators by educators. PACT is 100% volunteer-run organization that focuses on educational technology use in the classroom in Pennsylvania and beyond. My name is Eric Verno. I am the president of PACT, and with me tonight, as always, my co-host.
Dom Salvucci. I'm the vice president of PACT.
And today... Oh, go.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, today we are on episode 51. April showers bring...
New ideas.
New ideas. All right.
I was just going to say more April showers, but I'm thinking that's probably going to... It's as redundant as the weather.
There you go. But more accurate. Oh, yeah. No, crazy. I mean, listen, talking about like going back into the weather talk, but the pictures I've been seeing, I'm not a aficionado of Pittsburgh, so I'm watching these videos. I'm like, dude, are these deep fakes? Like, there's roads going down, like right around the Three Rivers area. There's like a road going down, and then it is just water. It's like
bathtub. Yeah.
No, it's crazy.
I call it the bathtub. It floods. Roads by me were flooded. The bridge I have to cross over. The Connoquenessing Creek came up and it closed several days. Then it rained again. Sunday night, the musical ended. I came home and was hanging out with the neighbors, and it started getting real dark. My neighbor's like, I think it's going to miss us. This first storm skirted just north of us. Thunder, lightning, but Newcastle, next town up. Then we got hit again. Like the second one came through. We all went back outside. Second one came through. And then a third one. And I'm sitting there, and I was getting the coffee pot ready for the next day. I'm like, that doesn't sound like rain. I turn on the back porch light, and there's hail coming down along with the rain, and it flooded the roads again. So Monday I had to take detours into work. But yeah, it's been, tons of rain, a lot of landslides, a couple major roads closed because of landslides around here. It's been a mess. And we're getting more rain tomorrow and Friday.
Oh, wow.
So
yeah, I think we're supposed to hit a rainy patch here as well. So it's definitely all around, it's just, life in Pennsylvania at this time. So yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. Yeah. But a lot of stuff going on as far as that goes. And it kind of helps. Like we had like 4 days off. So I always call after long breaks, like re-entry. How is re-entry for the kids? And, this time of year it's a struggle for re-entry for the students.
Yeah. And like the one nice thing about this weather, and that's why, coming up with show ideas, new ideas, with the weather, you can't really get outside. So it's kind of sit around, read. I've been doing a lot of reading, things to work with in my classroom. So from that standpoint, it's giving me time because I'm not outside doing yard work or enjoying the weather because it's raining, sit around and do a lot of reading inside.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And definitely, you would a lot of time to do that, brush up on things, we'll be talking a little bit about some Microsoft things, some Google things. So I've been watching some different videos from the partner side. I have the fortune of being on the doing some trainings for them, so getting the insider information on different trainings and stuff that they're offering. So I've been doing a lot of reading about their prompting stuff. We got Gemini on the Google side, the Copilot stuff on the Microsoft side. So being able to look, because that's really going to be the next wave. The whole how are people writing prompts for different things? So like it's going to become the new like 5-paragraph essay. Like, how do you write a proper prompt in order to get different things? And yeah, I'm pretty cool. So yeah, it's just some funky stuff there. So my wife and I joked for a couple of years, like we were going to do a website, and it was going to be she reads books, I read blogs, because I'm like, I've got, I've already shown my Feedly blog reader here and 600 blogs or so that I do. And then I look in our family room, and we got fireplace, and on either side are bookshelves, and it's just all the books she's read. And I'm like, whew, like, it's not me. Like I was the guy in school where like I had a phenomenal roommate who would do all the reading, and then I would have a conversation with him because I didn't know that's what it's called at the time. But I was such an auditory processor and learner that I would just have conversations, and I would get everything I needed from his cliff notes that I'd be good for all my classes. Like, so short blog posts I'm good with. Reading books puts me to sleep. I tell my students all the time.
You kind of invented the audiobook.
How about it, right? Yeah. And all of it was free. I never once paid him a dime. And now he's assistant superintendent up in North Central Pennsylvania. So it's all good. I owe a lot to that guy. Yeah, so a lot of good stuff there. We got a lot of good stuff going on around the state. Yeah, and I think we're just gonna look at just diving right in and talking about some of that stuff we got going on. So let's pull up the PAECT website here. Let's look at our calendar of events. All right, so we are in the month of April here, and we're halfway through already. So always battling with the podcast. We have our Teachers First classes that are going on. So Tuesdays are always an active evening in the PAECT realm. So we got the multilingual magic, enhanced communication expression for diverse learners. We've got an EdTech meetup happening. I'm going to click on this here for the 18th.
That's at Flux Space in Pittsburgh.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
There's still space available from what I understand. I cannot make that because it's right after school. I can't get down there fast enough from where I'm at. But it's on the Pittsburgh side of Green Tree Road for people in southwestern PA. That's a great, if you have the opportunity, it's free. Go check it out.
Awesome. And then
Flux Space is a neat place.
Yeah, we've been doing a lot of cool stuff with Flux Space and kind of partnering with them for different projects. So love it. We got on the 20th this Saturday at Bloomsburg University. We've got the TERS conference. So we're hosting and the 6th annual Technology Education Research Symposium. So again, on the grounds of Bloomsburg University. So we're going to have different professors coming in, doing some different sessions, sharing about different items, and learn more about tech or ed tech leader and research concepts and ideas. So I'm excited to be there and get to see it for the first time. We've had it going again for 6 years. But as president, I'm going to be able to go there, just give a quick little opening remark and welcome everybody, and just excited to see and learn and be around some cool people for that day. So excited for the TERS conference, and our higher ed chair, Lynn Hummel, does a great job with that. So looking forward to that. And then, so we got, again, like I said, going through our Teachers First to talk about flipped classrooms and flipped learning. And kind of excited. I'm hoping to do a double weekend deal. We'll see. But on the 27th, Philadelphia, Southeast region, we're doing some cornhole. So cornhole tournament, something new that we're trying here. We're going to try to bounce it around in some different regions. Not all the regions, but our goal is to bounce it around the state, doing some different regions, and teachers, non-teachers alike. There's just different paces. If you're a PAECT member, if you're free, just, or a guest or a member or a guest, if you're going to play. If you're a premium, you get a discount. If you're just going to be hanging out, $5. And if you're going to play, it's a $10 discount for being a premium member. And then, just going through, and there's going to be, just like there is, some cash prizes and some different things going on, but great fellowship and a good time to toss the bags.
Yeah. Those look interesting. I'm hoping one comes in closer on this side of the state check it out. I'm not much of the cornhole player. I'm a better bocce player, but I'd love to check one of those out.
Yeah. And they use an app called Switch Oleo Style and the different things they do. But our former president, member of our council of respected past presidents, is going to be helping to run that. So we're appreciative to Brandon Lutz lending us his expertise. And then currently just have some different teachers first things going on in May. And then a gamification. So early May, May 7th, we've got gamifications, remake learning. So talk about teacher book, chat and workshop. And I'm really bummed I can't make this one. But other things going on and just the fact that it's in person and Mercer, PA, I'm not going to be able to make that one. But
and that's our show too. So I can't, it's close, but I can't make it.
Nope. I knew there was a reason why I couldn't make it, but I wasn't positive. But hey, we'll be here live. I can't do it mobile in the car on the drive home from Western PA. Probably wouldn't be good.
No, and that is May's messing us up because by one day that I think Wednesday the week starts on or May starts on a Wednesday. If it started on a Tuesday, we could attend that.
Yeah, it gets us. All right, let's check out the regional directors glide show they got going on. So unfortunately, the April 6th event, I was all ready to go. But the apps and AI did not occur, but I'm hoping that they're able to do that at another time because, there's nothing that I would like better than talking about AI while tossing some axes through the air,
And they were real. They were not virtual axes. They were real axes.
Oh, they were real. They were legit. And I'm curious to hear when we get our reports about how the Fab Lab experience went and how this esports tournament went.
I think that had to be canceled due to some external issues on the esports. From what I understand, it did not occur because I couldn't make that. That was the musical weekend, and that was just I couldn't make it to that one. But I think that one was canceled. But some of the other things on there are pretty good.
So you heard it here. Because of Dom, things got messed up. All right. Okay. Mark that one down. Kevin, write that one down for him later. Thank you. All right. So we got, just different things going on here. And then creeping into May, spring cleaning tips. So South Central, all through the month of May, going to be doing some tech and keep your tech in tip-top shape. That's interesting. All right. Make your teaching pop with Canva. And I believe we're also live on this time, right? Is that our May 7th? Is that our show? Because I was really looking forward. That looks like it's going to be an awesome session. So I definitely would tell people, we love Canva here at PAECT. As educators, you should love Canva for what it offers you. But definitely got an opportunity for you to check some stuff out there. So
hopefully some of these can be recorded so we can, archive them and view them later.
Well, I think we have a program that we do that with, don't we, Dom?
I think so. I'm just not certain if it's going to be done with this one.
I just have to go back and where is my little owl? Right here above my shoulder. Hard to see my little Otis owl. So Otis, is it an owl? I called it an owl, but I don't think it's an owl. I don't know what it is.
Just call him Otis.
Anyway, there you go. So the Otis. So yeah, we put everything on our Otis platform in the back end to be able to watch later. So we'll have to talk to Ms. Jen Tony and see if she's going to be filming that or recording that in Zoom and posting that. That's a good point. And then we'll be talking a little bit about this as we talk about our tech news and our tech notes.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff happening in April and May. We got state testing going on across, all different things. Keystone testing in the high schools. There's a lot of bingo boards being set up. A lot of steps about to be, stepped while perusing the room and actively monitoring as the students are showing what they know.
Not one, not two, but 3 days of Keystone proctoring. Last year they cut me a break. I only did to do 2, but this year I'm doing all 3. The one nice thing is now they have the pathways for students. So if they don't do great on the Keystones, there's other ways they can still achieve graduation. But Keystones, like I always tell the kids this, you're taking the test. I understand how, tedious that can be. I said, but it's even worse watching you take the tests. At least you have something to do. So I'm not allowed to, do anything but watch. So I'm the creepy old guy, traipsing around the room watching you take tests because that's what I have to do.
That's how it is. All right. Well, you know what? This would be a great time. We talked about this thing called Otis, and we got a little minute clip to talk to the people at home about what Otis is. So I think we're going to crank that out right now.
Sounds good. PAECT Premium members, are you looking for some quality professional development? PAECT has just what you're looking for. Through Otis for Educators, we offer a variety of professional development activities to suit your needs. Live, synchronous professional development offerings, asynchronous classes for you to progress through at your own pace. Some of the activities qualify for Act 48 credits, some for micro-credentialing, others give you certificates. Many are ISTE-aligned sessions, and we have much, much more. Premium members, you have access to Otis for Educators with your membership. Not a premium member yet? Not a problem. Check out paect.org to see how to upgrade your membership and take advantage of these great offerings.
Well,
that sounded like a very wise man giving great advice.
I was just going to apologize for the fact that they had to listen to that voice for 46 seconds talking about the biggest trap of the day. Oh, good stuff. Yep. So we're truly appreciative of everything that Otis offers us, and all of a lot of our sessions are live. Our KTIC that we ran when we were in those days of everything being shut down. A lot of our PD sessions, if you're not able to attend, we do post them there. And if you saw something on the calendar and you know it was a virtual and you're not sure, you feel free to send an email to Dom or I, or to jen.tony, Tony, at paect.org. And just say, hey, is that PD session going to be posted on Otis? All right. So we have a new segment now. And you know what I realized, Dom?
What?
We talked about doing this, and I did not go into Canva and make a beautiful slide transition. So unfortunately, we just have this today.
Us.
All right. So we're going to be going into a new segment talking about some tech news that's going on around the area. I'm getting rid of our blur in the background. All right. So tech news. So as far as education technology, this one kind of caught my eye, and I was like, you know what? I was talking to Dom. I'm like, we probably should do a little something where we talk about what's going on in education technology, because it's definitely something that's near and dear to our hearts. So
yeah,
looking at this first story here, we've got, let me blow this up a little bit so we can see this. All right. So if you haven't heard, Canva purchased Affinity. And for those of you who don't know, Affinity is in essence, a competitor to Adobe. They had a lot of different products that were out there. Wasn't educationally geared, but definitely very exciting that one of our favorite offerings is getting even better and pulling it in. So they're calling it version 2 of Affinity. They have a YouTube video here. We won't play that. Don't want to get have takedown notices for our show. But the big thing is their move is so they can empower every kind of designer. So definitely very interested, very excited. A lot of people that I know prefer to use Affinity over Adobe, mainly because of the pocketbook, because they're able to use it. It's the different software was definitely cheaper than using Adobe products. In school, if your school paid for it, it's just a different scenario. But they have this, and I know in their conversations they've shared that Canva's goal is to keep it free for education. They're probably going to have some different tiers kind of set up. But I personally think this is definitely some exciting news that they're taking this awesome Canva team, who I've gotten to meet a lot of the different trainers and the different presenters at ISTE and other conferences. And they're combining with this awesome powerhouse team at Affinity. So you put them together, it's just like a whole Justice League superpower for education.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing with that. I love Canva. I'm getting better. I've made it. That's something I've been doing all year is progressing through Canva and playing around with things. It's fantastic. Easy to work with, pull information in, create things, make your own GIFs, if you will, animated logos and stuff, do stuff for the kids to, go beyond the basic.
Yep.
So that seems to work well with them. It's easy. I'm looking forward to playing with this. Said I've used Adobe and we have it through our school. So I've played with it. Um, far from being a master with it. You know, I'm not close to being the Jedi, but I'm looking forward to learning this too.
Yeah, so they got their designer, their so their photo, so like Adobe Photos, publisher. This is the one that I really started out using, doing a lot of like newsletter things in the classroom. Like I kind of look back at some of the older stuff I did, and I'm like, woof, I actually made that. That's quite impressive. But now it's just more digital or virtual or online, or you're making things and posting them on Google sites or whatever. But here they have some of the different things. So the publisher and just they're talking about what's next. So just some exciting news that, I think it's good for us to highlight some of these things that are going on in tech, because some of us are nerdy and go out and look for all that stuff. Some of us are reading blogs at midnight when they can't sleep, and some of us aren't necessarily, and we're working through, or, you're a newer teacher, you're just focusing on getting that curriculum down and hearing about these cool ideas. But just what I love about PACT and the PLN and the group that it is, it's such an exciting group. When I'm around our crew, I learn something all the time.
Yeah.
And, and sometimes it's even like, oh gosh, really that thing's still around and it's even better than back when I was using it. Let me go back and take a look at that. So, all right, pretty cool. All right, Don, what were we going to share with their tech news here?
Well, just piggyback on your comment. That is one of the things. There's a lot of tools that, I didn't use for a while. That, that wasn't very good, and it's come around again, and they've improved it drastically. And some of the ones that became outdated are back. This, because May is coming up, and we're actually going to have, or we're planning on having, people from Remake Learning Days on. Remake Learning it started in Western Pennsylvania. And when they come on, we'll go a deep dive into Remake Learning. But Remake Learning Days is coming up here quickly in May. If you go to remakelearningdays.org, and we'll put this in the wakelet and put it into the description in Spotify and YouTube and wherever else you find this wonderful podcast. They have all kinds of events going on around the state. You can go in and find events near yourself. Start date. There are the regions for pop-up events. If you click on the map, we'll scroll down. Here's the map. Remake Learning Days in the United States. Throughout Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Maryland, Virginia border, into Kentucky, some Tennessee. Oh, this is going to be, I believe, Wisconsin. And, my geography is throwing me. On the other side of Indiana is Missouri, I believe. But you have all these events, and then down in Florida. So there's events going on. Some are virtual, some are in person. And then there are international events going on in the UK, New Zealand, Uruguay. But if you go into the website, you can click and find different events. Pennsylvania is divided into 7 regions this year. It is growing. It has there's not quite 1,000. I think there are over 800 events going on in the state of Pennsylvania. But you could search by the events, put in your postal code. I'm in Elwood City, so I go 16117. Set the miles. Find events. And it gives you a list of events. And I think I may have done this. I think you have to go. That's what I did wrong. It is one at a time. That's what I did wrong. So enter your postal code 16117. And then you go from one with another. But they have the different events. You could go search. You could search by keywords, the dates. You could click on different themes. It's geared towards different age groups, from toddlers up. They have free. They have some that might cost some money. So you can go through all the search filters and find all of this stuff. But they give you the information. They said Pennsylvania has a ton of events going on. And you can go. You don't have to be from that region to go to that region.
Yeah.
So I wanted to go over that, because start looking at remakelearningdays.org if you're interested. There's a lot going on. We're hoping to have them on early in May. It's a tentative. and I'll let them do the deep dive into explaining it. But it's a great opportunity to not just for teachers, but also get parents involved. That was the goal, was to get parents more involved in their kids' education and for them to be immersed, I guess it would be the term, in what goes on and what learning can be like. And these events are all family friendly, and it's something very worthwhile checking out. So it's remakelearningdays.org, and you can go from there. We will have them on. I'm hoping it's the first episode in May. That's what we're aiming for.
Okay.
But it's not 100%
awesome.
in concrete yet. But we'll let them do the deep dive. But check out remakelearningdays.org and check it out. There's a lot going on across the state. A lot of PACT members. I was involved in the virtual meeting last Tuesday, and a lot of PACT members are checking it out, and a lot of good information.
So, yeah, it's awesome. I feel we've done a lot and kind of partnered with Remake Learning.
Yes.
Unofficially. I look at ISTE last year in Philadelphia. We ran a whole playground for the whole week, and it was all PACT sponsored. Then we shared with 2 other affiliates at different times. They took a block of time, but we took the majority of it, and we actually had a whole Remake Learning feature in the booth, and different sessions all tailored towards the program. So love what they have going on. So love any time that we can partner with them. And yeah, there's a lot of PACT members that have bought into the Remake Learning process, the program, and that just screams its quality, because a lot of what the PACT members are doing is definitely spot on with what's needed for education and what's good in education. So
yeah, and it's a lot of good events, a lot of hands-on events. There'll be some virtual, some will be in person, but definitely check that out, and then we will get more in detail whenever they come on the show. But it was well worth mentioning, because by the time they're on, there might be some events you might miss. So go check that out.
Yeah. All right. Our last bit of tech news here, and we're going to go on opposite sides on this one, Dom, because it's a Microsoft thing. It's the Microsoft wedge between Dom and Eric. All right. So the Microsoft program, what's that?
I'm getting itchy. It's like I'm allergic.
That's why I put you on that side. So the Microsoft has a Microsoft Innovator Educator Expert Program. And I'm telling you, I love the organization and PACT and the PLN, but outside of that, this is the only other thing I could find that has matched that excitement, that energy. So the MIEE program, so I've been in MIEE for a few years now. So when you go to the education blog.microsoft.com, they do a thing, reimagine education. When they came out with this, I was like, is that kind of like Remake Learning? So a little different, but as you scroll down, right here, they have become an MIE expert or a showcase school or an incubator school. So if your school, most schools in PA do have a Microsoft tenant, and then we also have the Google tenant that we're using. Like our school is Google based, and the kids have access to both. The teachers are, all of our emails through Microsoft, and everything's held on a server in that sense. But our students are Google based, except for email. We've kept that with Microsoft. So we're kind of like we got our toes in both ponds, if you will. But if you are interested, if you use Microsoft products and look at this here, this just explains the program, gives you kind of the timeline of when things are happening. They have a meeting coming up talking about different stuff. So how to become, so you can learn more about that. And then the program and some different videos that are great. Again, we won't play because we don't want to have any takedown notices, how to become an expert. And then Microsoft has a phenomenal bank of resources. So kind of like, we've partnered with Otis to do our PD. Microsoft has their own program called Microsoft Learn. So it's learn.microsoft.com. And in this program, they have different courses you can take. So they do have one based on the MIEE program, and it talks about the program, gives you specifics on how to join. If you're new, what questions you're going to be getting, because you got to basically self-nominate yourself, and you have to do what, we've talked to Kevin, we talked to Coy, we kind of shared about how, and maybe we're off base. I haven't heard anybody tell us we're off base, but I feel like teachers are not great at tooting our own horns. We're not good at how Coy put it, share the story, and how Kevin, last pod reiterated that fact. Like, we really need to do a better job of crafting it, sharing our story, and I think Kevin added the sweet pig part in there as well. So, with that, you have to sell yourself with this, share your different products. And I have so many people that I know that they don't do it because they're like, oh, well, I just did this. Well, your just did this is pretty good, and put it in there. You never know. So if you're a new, click in here. It'll take you to, all right, a Word document that you can download. It has all your information of what you need, all your links that you need. If you are a current member, there's a whole different set of things that you have to go through. And again, just some different, when the time frame is, the video to watch. A buddy of mine named Tony, he teaches in New Jersey, met him through the MIE program, and he was featured on a nationally televised Microsoft commercial. He does some rapping and stuff at his school, but he has this big hair bun up top. So I do have a picture of he and I at ISTE in Chicago, and I jokingly said, he's party on the top, I was party on the bottom. So we kind of like got a picture together with that whole deal. So, but it's definitely really cool. So if you do anything with Microsoft in your school, it's worthwhile checking out. You could put this stuff together. In worst case, they say no. But if they say yes, there's monthly meetings. You're hearing about the latest and greatest. You're getting insider tips before, hot off the griddle, before they're officially rolling it out. The ability to do some different trainings and stuff with Microsoft. So it's definitely a cool program. I know, Google, Apple, they all have their programs. I haven't necessarily delved into that too much. But with the MIE program, I think it's phenomenal, and it just costs you some time to put it together. And it's really cool. And the other thing is, like, today I was doing something with Cami, and I'm like, oh, I can't do that. We used to get a free Cami account with our MIEE program, and I'm like, oh, let me pull open that OneNote. And I was like, oh, look, they actually brought it back. So I was able to go in and get a free, you threw me off there, Dom. Get a free pro account to Cami that I push it out to the kids. The kids have access to do some different things there. So there's even that cool thing where they partner with and stuff. And I mean, just all the crazy stuff. So I can't speak more highly of the program. So definitely something to think about. So that would be the long-winded end to our first tech news.
That is cool that they do a lot of work with Cami, because we use Cami in school, and I've met with them at ISTE and Pete, and they do a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah.
So I like using Cami with my kids. Sorry about the pop-up. That's why I was holding off.
You're good.
You're good. Jumping the gun on the tech notes.
All right. Well, hey, you just did it. So that's our segue. Here we go. Tech notes. And on the back end, I think, Dom, we're going to have you go first this week. Here we go.
Okay. So my tech note is VisuWords. And the phone is ringing in the background. It is that time. My wife's getting a phone call from her sister.
His tech notes is landline.
Landline. So VisuWords. VisuWords.com. VisuWords.com. It is a visual dictionary. So, and I came across this, I believe it was one of our PAECT, I want to say it was a PAECT webinar, but I'm not 100% sure. I forget, and I apologize for that. But it is an interactive visual thesaurus, parts of speech, not your granddad's dictionary. It doesn't have every word. It is being built out. It's pretty cool. Ads do pop up on it from time to time, but it goes over. If you take a look and scroll through this site, has graphs associated with everything. You go word spelunking, explore. So, bird, genius. It gets into all the different, has the noun, if it's a verb, adjective, the color of the main word, and then on the side it has how it's linked up with the different color arrows. It's all color coded for visual learners. And you highlight things, and you can scroll through what happened. Ah, there it is.
My fault. I was setting up my tech notes. See, just like you did
paybacks. So I just showed something really fantastic there, but you blanked me off the screen, so you just have to go with what I'm working on now.
My bad.
Say like I go into type in just the basic word car, early learners. So it gives you all kinds of car. Then automobile, insurance, car, you highlight insurance agent lost due to theft, car, elevator, car with passengers right up and down, car bomb. We don't want to go there. It's violent. Automobile, motor vehicle, four wheels. So it gives you all different meanings and like gondolas, different forms of car, the adjectives, synonyms, approximate. It gives you all the different connections that you can use for that. If I went to, I'm just doing very basic words. I use some social studies terms and some historical terms, and they weren't in there, and that's not complete yet, but it gives you the different, the charge in a police register, reserve or hold to book a room. So it gives you the different forms. So for visual learners, there's different ways you can look at this versus just going on like dictionary.com or old school paper dictionaries. It's a neat little thing I've been playing with little by little. Oh, that's an ad. We don't need that. So we are going to pull that down. And I can't. There we go. Remove. So don't click on the ads. Learn something new every day.
There you go.
But yeah, that Visu word. Here, pull it back up. So I got the ad off the screen. So don't click on those colored boxes. They take you to the ads. Draw you in with colors, man. But you type in the word up on top, and it gives you the different versions of it. And you can play around with that and take a look. I would test it in your classroom depending on the level of kids you have, because it's not inappropriate for kids, but it's going to have various usages. So you want to check that out before. It's like you don't do a Google search on the big screen in front of your classroom without verifying it first, or show the YouTube video without verifying it first before you show it to the class. So this is something for visual learners. Like I said, I've been playing with it. I think it's kind of neat, and I'll just fiddle around with it. Even sometimes when I'm bored, it's like, okay, go on and look, and has cool colors. Look at some of the words and different definitions. I'm kind of a word geek. I always said I should have been an English teacher, if not a history teacher. That was like my second, but the fear of having to graph sentences for 35 years with seventh graders drove me to history. I just I couldn't do that. As much as I love English, I'm like, oh no, I can't deal with that.
That was a real thing. Sure.
Visual words, it's a neat little thing I came across. I'm still playing with it. But it's interesting, and it gives you all the different forms of the words. If you're a word geek like me, it's cool to play with, see what words are in there, see what words aren't in there, and go from there. I know some of the historical terms I've used, like mad, brinksmanship. I don't think brinksmanship showed up in there, but I know that mutually assured destruction was not one of the terms. So it's not necessarily a subject level dictionary. Yeah, but like brinksmanship's not found. I just typed that in. So certain specific subject-specific words may not be in there, but for general English, check it out.
Yeah. Awesome stuff. All right. Visu words. I like it. All right. Let's kick over to our next tech notes. All right. So I've talked about a couple things, on that tech geeky side. I've talked about, how can I, Edge came out with collections, and Chrome's got their version of what they call it. And I don't use Chrome a lot, so I don't have that name necessarily. I'm kind of an Edge guy, for better or for worse. But so as I was doing some things, I know during our session at Pete and C Dom when we were talking about StreamYard, I had
Hmm.
somebody come up to me and say, "Hey, um, you know, I have a PC. You got a PC. I can't find the StreamYard app." And I was like, "Oh, I don't use an app. It's actually in the browser, but I've installed it as an app." So, history lesson for you: way, way, way back when this little thing called the iPhone came on the market. Maybe you've heard of it. Steve Jobs was infamous with saying we are not going to have an app store. It was all about what they called at that time web apps. It's kind of conversed. It's changed in name. It used to be called PWA, Progressive Web Apps, and they're kind of getting ready for their new iteration of what that's going to be. But basically, it was if you're on your iPhone and you're on a website and you can click and hold and say, "Do you want to add this to the home screen?" In essence, that will turn it into an app on your phone. It's basically what they call it's a wrapper they put around the website, so you don't see all of the file menu. You don't see the structure of the website. You see the app. So in Edge, and if Dom, if you play around in Safari, if you're using Safari, I don't know if you do on your app on your Mac, but in Edge, if I go in and I go to pact.org, so this is a interesting this works in Edge, and I'll show it to you in Chrome. It doesn't work in Chrome. So in Edge, it's going to be in when I go to the three dots here, which they're laying down. So I call that the dead snowman. It's not, if it's standing up, it's a snowman. If they fall over, it's the dead snowman. And down here in the apps, I could say install this site as a new app. So you can give it whatever name you want, call it PACT, and then hit install. So I do laugh because I do tell people that this is, so now so if you see on the screen currently is our glide, it shows the profile I have, your front and back in here. So this is a web browser, but now PACT's website as an app. And do I want to pin it to the taskbar to start, create a shortcut? So I'm just going to just pin it to start for right now, hit allow, and then here it is. So it's there. It's now in its own little wrapper. I can still scroll up and down. If it takes me to another site, it'll kick out to a web browser. But now I can do everything on this as if it's its own app. I do it with good.
You don't have to open up the browser to access that, or you do have to open up the browser.
You don't, because this will be an app living on your. Yep. And all you do is like you install, Microsoft Word, Outlook, or Zoom, and you double click it and it opens the app up, and then you go in. This is living right there. When you click it, it opens up the browser, but you don't see all of the other mess. You just see this. So I think of this time of year, teachers, you're doing a lot of different things. You're pulling from a lot of different sites. Maybe you love a lot of tabs. Maybe you want it to be, this is a silo for some of the tech people, were being made fun of, call about when you're in your flow. But in my flow, I want to just have this site. I don't want to have any other distractions. Here's what it is. So like I said, that's the example of what I do here. When I do my Feedly and I'm reading my feeds, this is a web wrapper around. Now I can do up here, it says third party, different things that I could do. I can open a sidebar to search, and then there's different options I can do in here if I wanted to. But that's all you get access to, and everything else is just this information. So it's like its own little app. Again, so most websites you go to, you can turn it into that. If I go here and if I go down, if for some reason apps and it has it installed, so it'll turn this, the blog into a site. So when you go to it, it'll go to the latest blog every time you open it, but it's in that web wrapper.
Nice.
Now, if I'm in Google Chrome, the unique thing is I go to the PACT website. In Chrome, they do make it a little easier. I'm not going to lie. It's right up. It lives up in here, but it won't turn our website into an app. But if I go to Reddit Tech News, I now have this where it says install Reddit. If I go here, I'll do Twitter. When I click it, it's going to say, okay, install this app, install. And now it pulls it down. And now it's on, and I have dark mode on and all that, so that makes it funky too. But I have, it's just in its own little wrapper. So now when I would go, and if I slide this over, this is the browser icon that it put, now that Elon Musk, he had X.com for the longest time, so now Twitter becoming X. But now this will live on my desktop or wherever I want. But it takes that website and it turns it into in essence, its own app. It's all the stuff in the back end that a browser does, but it's clean and it's isolated. So if I just want to, I go to that site, I just want to do XYZ, that's what I do. I don't need to do anything else, because, the squirrel moment and all these different things. Just thinking about this time of year, we're all trying to figure out how to work on just our focus. Because again, as I tell my students, I said, listen, your attention span during this time of year gets smaller. So does your teachers. There's different things going on. Gosh, looking at our calendar and what's going on during this time is just intense. The whole concept of having a regular week is just out the window right now. There's so many things going on. So if I have the ability of any way, shape, or form to help stay organized, that's a way you can do that. So Chrome, like I said, it'll pop up in the browser. I have to search under the dead snowman 3 dots in Edge, and I'm sure Safari has it because they were one of I don't know who came first, but when it came to the iPhone, they were the first ones pushing that until the App Store became really big.
Yeah, I see it in Chrome because that's what I'm running right now. And as a man of many tabs, I could see this would definitely help me out because your number of tabs that I have open, and it's like, oh, I wonder what's, I haven't checked this one in a while. What's going on here? And what's, so that definitely keeps you focused.
Yeah. And it'll, you don't have to worry about running updates. It's like, my thing, I got obsessed over, on my fold, I'll pull up the App Store and run updates on it, whether it's through the Galaxy or whether through its Google Play Store. When I was on the iPhone, same thing. Now, on Monday after the weekend or sometimes midweek, I'll open up the Microsoft Store on my school computer. What apps need to update? You don't have to worry about it because the website automatically updates.
Yeah.
So when you open it, it's pulling that fresh information down. So it takes care of that. So some tech orgs are okay with it. So some of your school tech's going to be fine. Some schools may try to block stuff like that. But again, to me, it just makes it nice and easy. And I can kind of compartmentalize the things I'm doing. So PWAs, web wrappers, whatever you want to call them, just a way to try to organize and make things a little easier for you.
Yeah. Now, not every tab I have open will allow me to do that, but certain ones will.
Right.
So,
and that's some of the geek end and the back end I'm going to look into. Like I said, using Edge, the way they have it set up, I can turn any website whatsoever into its own app. For whatever reason, I am not sure. Not sure why it doesn't work for that. I will say on my phone, what I found value in is I subscribe to our local newspaper, the digital, and I get, the Sunday paper. I'll get the Sunday paper delivered. The rest of it's digital. They don't have an app, but I opened it and I made it used in the web wrapper. I added it to my home screen. So when I open it, it just goes to the digital viewer and I can select which, edition, which day I want. And that paper shows up just in that on my phone. And then I don't have it set up on my computer, but I could if I wanted to.
Yeah.
It just makes it nicer, So, yeah, just something different for you. So a little on that geekier edge, setting up your own apps for websites to help organize.
Nice. Very nice.
That's it. Yeah. Always trying to do just a little bit and, share the different things that I think make sense throughout the week,
Yeah. And you're right. This time of year, especially the last couple of days, the sun being out, not having seen it. We were fortunate for the eclipse, but then it rained and snowed the rest of the week.
Yeah, how wild.
Yeah,
right?
The week before that was rain and snow. It was just rain last week, but the week before that was rain and snow. You get these days, and I went many years teaching without a window, so I'd have to walk down the hall to look out the window. Now I have a window in my room, so I get distracted easy. This will help keep me focused, one less distraction.
Now, I should send you a picture of the window I have in my room. It's not fun. All right, good stuff. Well, let me tell you, a lot of good things shared, a lot of neat things going on around the state. Exciting, and we're right at that 1 hour mark. I think it's time to wrap things up.
Yes. I want to thank our sponsors. And before we do that, let me get into my notes here.
Oh, buddy. He didn't copy our end banner over.
Oh, no, he didn't.
Well, the PAECT pod,
We are.
the voice of EdTech in Pennsylvania.
And beyond.
Let's thank our sponsors. As soon as I find the video.
PAECT would like to thank all of our sponsors. Venture sponsor, EduSpire, corporate council members, ClassLink, GoGuardian, ClearTouch, and our gold sponsors, Sam Labs, Howard Technology Solutions, and Teachers First. We at PAECT truly appreciate all of your support. Once again, thank you.